So you're talking about change management, and when it comes to all of us human beings, we're all creatures of habit, like all of us. And your brain, when you start doing things repeatedly, your brain rewires, and you're just used to the way you do things, for better or for worse. And so any kind of change, for you, for me, for all of us, our initial instinct is to resist it because it goes against our current habits, not all of which are great habits, right? And
That's
so
right.
a lot of what we're talking about is changing of habits for you and for your team and for your business. And that's not an easy task, because you've got to break through old habits and replace them with new habits. So how do you do that? And a big piece of that is by reframing what we're doing, not in terms of change, but in terms of upgrades, from the standpoint of, and this is why, in week 3, we talk about your mission as an organization, and your vision, and your core values. And the big piece of advice that I could give you and everyone listening is to tee up the change that's coming, in through 2 different kind of frames. Number one is, and I've always, whenever there's been like a big shift, I've had this kind of conversation, at least with our core team, from the standpoint of, let's say that so this is the conversation you would have with your team. You'd say, let's say we're chatting in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road. What kind of an organization would we be proud of building? How do we want to be thought of in the marketplace? What do we want our students to think of what we've created? What kind of legacy do we want to build? And then the second part of that question is, do we want to be your average school? Do we want to be your average institution? Do we want to be an average place to work? And it's kind of a rhetorical question where, who is going to say, yes, yeah, my goal is to just be your average, school that's on the 3rd page on Google when you search, and so on. So most people, I would imagine, are going to say that, no, I mean, we want to be exceptional, above average. And so what we're talking about is, in the future, most of the people, when you ask that question, they're going to say, yeah, we don't want to be your average school. Okay, great. Therefore, we can't keep doing things the same way forever. We have to look at ways to get a little bit better each day, not just for the sake of change, but for the sake of, how can we make the experience for our clients just a little bit better tomorrow, just a little bit better next week? How can we make our business a better place to work just a little bit tomorrow, next week? So we're not talking about seismic shifts and this massive innovation. We're talking about, how can we make our tomorrows just a little bit better than our todays? And can we agree that we're on the same page for that? And the people that say, no, I want things to be terrible and miserable and average, well, you should go and work for, our competitors. I think they've got some openings for you. But for those who do want their tomorrows a little bit better than their todays, by the way, I can't do this myself. I'm really counting on you. It's going to require us as a team to create this big future for ourselves, right? So that's kind of the conversation that you have, which leads into the perfect week. And the perfect week is not just about you and your husband. Is it Carl?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just about you to feather your nest. It's about what we're looking at right here. Your business is an opportunity to create a vehicle that drives people through Maslow's hierarchy, towards self-actualization. So when you set up your business in the right way, you're being able to help your clients to self-actualize. So you're that's an easy one for what you guys do. You're helping, people to conquer a new language. When they can do that, guess what happens? Opportunities open, etc. Right? That's the purpose of your business, right? And the same is true for you. When your business is set up correctly, you have the ability to create impact, legacy, philanthropy, etc. For your team, when you set up a business that is growing and structured the right way, they can self-actualize because you're putting them in positions of growth. They're learning new things. They're learning how to be more efficient, more effective. And so this is what we're doing through the perfect week, is setting up this vehicle. And what we're looking at right here is, this is like your average day. When you have a terrible day or a terrible week, it's not a life sentence. You have the opportunity to learn from it and move towards this end of the spectrum, right? So that's the context that I think is good to reframe this change and say, how can we make some small upgrades, some small changes to make that conversation come true 3, 4, 5 years down the road, so we can have look back and say, look at what we've created. Like we should all feel proud for this.